Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's bi-weekly webinar. Today's session is going to be around connecting your safety ecosystem. So as you know, I'm Jess. I am the head of customer success here at Soda, and I'm very happy to be sharing this session with you today. I'm really excited because this is something that I've really experimented with over the last 6 months, and with AI, it's always evolving, and it's really exciting to see how far it has really come. We've got some great numbers of attendees, so thank you all for your time this afternoon or morning if you're in the central time like me. Uh, while we present today's session, I'd really like you to think about what questions you might have for me at the end. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter session today, just because I want to leave room for questions. I want to give you a chance to pick my brain, as you'd say. So please, if you have any questions you'd like to ask, please pop them in the chat early. It doesn't bother me. I'll get to them at the end of the session. But yeah, the more questions, the better today. So, as you know, I am Jess, the head of customer success here at Soda. I work with our partners to ensure that they are getting the most out of our technology and they are getting the results that they are hoping for. So today we are going to look at connecting a safety ecosystem. So I've popped over to my dashboard. So if you're on the platform right now, feel free to click along. Today's a very practical session. So what I'm going to show you is how to set yourself up for success. So when you first log into the platform, you're going to be on this page here. This is our landing page. And we have a little puzzle icon down in the bottom where the chat box is. This is where you will want to start off by connecting your systems. So these are our connector tools. As you can see, I've got a few of mine already connected in here. But this is where you can click on the button to connect any of these platforms. Now, if there is something that isn't there that you'd like to see on there, then you're always welcome to reach out to us. We are more than happy to look into API integrations with most safety systems or any platforms really. But for the purposes of today, I'm going to show you a connection, and I've got my Gmail connected, my calendar, Microsoft Teams, and we've also got, let's say, a safety system connected. So let's say we've got safety culture connected. So once you've connected those to the platform, the AI then has the ability to access that data. So it makes it a little bit more seamless when it comes to finding information, answering emails, those kinds of things. And if you're like me, I'm a lazy girl. I don't want to have to prompt the context or give it some background. I just want to go into the system and say, hey, did you see that email that Mike sent me? I need you to respond to it. And then the AI then can go into your emails and find all of the context it needs. You don't have to prompt or give it some background context. Now for today, I've got this workspace open. We've got a bunch of different records saved. So we've got some hazard reports, some incidents, some near misses, toolbox talk, attendance sheets. Let's pretend that's our safety system. So if you do record all of these types of things in SoterAI, then great, it's easier. If not, then you can connect it to that system in the connector tool, and that will be able to pull from that and read that. So for the purposes of today, I'm actually going to show you a workflow run. So I've created a workflow that does a little bit more than what some of our other workflows do. And I thought it was a really good way to showcase what the system can technically do. So this workflow that I've built that really does show how the connectors can work with you is called Incident Risk Monitor. So it's an AI-powered safety intelligence workflow that automatically ingests the data from across your organization's connected systems. This includes incident records, near-miss reports, training completion logs, and whatever you've got connected into the system. It analyzes that data and then works with you to do a number of different things and items after the fact. So in this workflow, the step one is the data and analysis. It's going to read all of that information in your connected systems. Depending on what you've set it for, say you just want to look at the last 30 days, you can say that in the instructions when you create a workflow. If you remember back to my webinar about 2 weeks ago, we or maybe a month now, we went over how to create a custom workflow. So this is that exact same premise, it's just a little bit different. Step 2 in this workflow that I've created is a toolbox talk. So based on that information that it's analyzed from your safety systems, from your data, it's going to create a toolbox talk that addresses the highest risk. And that's the instructions that I've given it. From there, it's going to create the email, step 3. It's going to create an email that goes out to the site that I can then drop in that toolbox talk. Step 4, it's going to do another email to the safety manager. In step 5, it's going to check calendar availability because based on the highest risk, we might want to set a calendar invite. And then step 6, it's going to actually create an incident investigation record in preparation if there was an incident. And step 7, another report. So I've gone through all of these. I am definitely going to show you. So let's jump into it now. So in this workflow, it's going to start off with asking me a very simple question. Actually, it's going to start off with doing the full analysis. So as I said, we've got all of our safety data connected in the system. For me, I've got all the SoterAI records that hold that data. But if you had it connected to some of your platforms that are outside of Soter, then it would pull all of that information in. So for now, I actually, as part of the instructions, I said to query all the data in the last 90 days. So I'm going to say for my workflow that I've created, this is my monthly reporting flow that I do. And as I said, like if you're like me, it's about working smarter, not harder. So getting the AI to do all of this grunt work and this preparation and this process is such an important factor when it comes to efficiency gains. And I think if you have a similar process that you're following and you're every month, say you have to do a full analysis of all of your safety data, create a report for your leadership team, create another report for your floor managers, you can create this as a workflow on its own that then can go through that process. And so you don't have to actually do any of that manual grunt work. And of course, if you are wanting to get a little bit of help, because I know it can be a bit daunting getting into the platform and not knowing exactly what to do to build what you need, you are more than welcome to reach out to me to get that set up. So I can work with you to build a workflow, build whatever you need, and we can do that together. So we're just giving it a few more minutes. Like I said at the start of the webinar, this session is going to be a bit shorter. I wanted to give a lot of time for questions. If you have just come in a bit late, we are starting this workflow that I've built. It's going to pull in all of the information that is connected in my dashboard. If you didn't see at the start, we have a little puzzle icon down the very bottom there. That's where you can connect your systems. So you can connect your emails, your calendar, your Teams, Microsoft Teams, your Google Drive, if you have Google Drive, otherwise there's SharePoint, OneDrive, anything. And if there's something that isn't in this list that you'd like to see it connect to, then of course, please feel free to reach out to myself and we can look into that API integration for you. Oh, this is taking a bit longer than I would like. Let's try refreshing the page. We'll give it a few more minutes. Like I said at the start, questions can keep coming in as we go through this session. If you have them, please chuck them in the chat now. We're still waiting for this first initial phase. And if we have questions now, I'd love to answer them because we're waiting a bit longer for this. Oh, it looks like we might have one. Good question. So we've got 2 already. Am I able to make this workflow available to all users? So this workflow is just a custom workflow that I've built and I'd be more than happy to share it. So if you did want to see if you can get this in your workspace, send me an email after this meeting and I'll get that sent over to you. And all you would need to do is go into the workflows page, go create a workflow. And then if I send you the PDF, you would just drop that into the chat here. Let me wait for it to load. So you would drop that PDF that I'd send you into the chat here, and then that will then populate all of these fields. So absolutely happy to share that. It is specific to my workspace though, so you might need to make some tweaks to it. The next question we have and I'll go back to where this is working because it's still going. And I am going to refresh my page again. It's taking a lot longer than it did when I tested it about 20 minutes ago. I'm going to kick it off again. The next question we got while we're waiting, still got plenty of time, by the way. If Copilot is already running on the Microsoft apps, will that interfere in any way with Soda's connectors? No, it shouldn't. If you do find that it does, reach out to our technical team and myself, I can connect you with them and we can figure it out. But it should generally be okay to connect it and there shouldn't be any issues. Another question we got, it's are your previous webinar presentations parked somewhere for later viewing? Yes, they are. So if you are, and again, we're waiting for this. So anyone that's coming in a bit late, we're just waiting for our analysis of all of the safety records. If you want to see some of our previous webinars, we have a little help center on the left-hand sidebar here. So I'll click on that for you and open that up. If you go into our help center, SoterAI is what you'd want to look at. And then down below, we have a product usage webinar. That link there is going to take you to our YouTube channel. And that side is where you see our full library of all of our webinars. So great question. And then the last question that I can see so far while we're waiting for this, we've got a few more actually. This link to this webinar is always posted after the training. So once we finish up today, it'll be sent usually within the hour. So look out for that email. There'll be a link to that recording. The next question we have is, I am connected to safety culture. How do I sync the tools I developed in iAuditor into Soda? So there might be some nuances around how much it can pull from. Usually it does have read access to everything. So I would just ask the chat and see what it can access to see how you can use that data in safety culture in SoterAI. All right, let's go and have a look. This is taking a lot longer than I would like. Luckily, I already have a pre-populated workflow. I would have liked to do this live, so I apologize, guys. It does look a lot better when it is going live. But what happens in this workflow specifically is it does its full analysis. It gives a full overview of all of the data that it's analyzed. So I'll pause questions right now. But it gives a full analysis of all of the data that it's got access to. For me, it's gone and put in a data ingestion, a risk analysis. Looks like it's got a lot of different information. And then at the very bottom, I think, yes, top 3 high-risk areas. Risk 1, forklift and pedestrian interaction. So we've obviously got a lot of incidents to do with forklifts and pedestrian interactions. Next risk is machine guarding and lockout tagout failures. And risk 3, fall exposure and working at height. So this is giving me a full overview of just the data. So this is the ingestion stage. The next step in this workflow that I've created is ready to create the toolbox talk. So I just simply said, yep, let's proceed. And I clicked this button. So the only things that I've done so far, if this was live, would be to click the use now on the workflow, and then does the analysis immediately, and then click yes, proceed to step 2 and create the toolbox talk. So I just clicked that. And what it did was it pulled up based on the highest risk, it created this toolbox talk for me. So it did it on forklift and pedestrian safety. So it's got a full toolbox talk that I can then export to a PDF or a docx, and it's got all of the key information that it needs to know. So this is purely just AI driven. I haven't asked it to do anything other than just analyze my safety data and go on this flow, this journey with me. The next thing it asks me once it goes through and it analyzes, oops, I've gone right down to the bottom of the chat. So back to the top again. I wish I could do this live, but it's just taking its time. And you can see that the next step is after the toolbox is created, ready to draft the safety bulletin email. So if you're like me, I I don't actually write any of my emails anymore. I do check them. I promise you, if you're emailing me and you're getting a response, I have checked it. But generally, I'm getting the AI to respond in my emails. So the next step in this is the AI is asking me, okay, are you ready to create the email? And all I did was, yep, proceed to step 3, click that button. Again, that's 3 clicks so far. And what it did was it created this email in my actual Gmail inbox. I've deleted it already, so I can't show you it, but I go into my emails, look at my drafts, and it's there waiting for me. I will show you how that works after this so you can see that it's so easy. So that is the next step. It creates that safety bulletin email. All I need to do is drop in that toolbox talk, and the email is perfect and ready to go. The next step after this, I've set it so that it creates a email to the safety manager. In this case, I've put my safety manager's name is Mike Bart. He's our sales guy in Soda. And so what it did was created another email. So a bit different. So it's gone and created that safety email to Mike Bart. Now the email, it gives me a bit of a snapshot in the chat, but again, the email is just sitting there in my drafts, ready to go. It's beautiful. From there, the next step is checking meeting availability. So remember, we're doing this analysis on the highest risks, and we're trying to find out what is the highest risk and then action that from there. So one of the steps is to set a meeting. And if your calendar is connected to the tool, it has the ability to check your availability and any calendars that you have access to. So in this case, I do have my calendar connected, and I also have Mike's calendar connected because I have access to that from my calendar. So what it does is it looks for availability. So if you've ever gone back and forth on when you're available in emails and you're like, I'm available this time, and they're not available, and you go back and forth and back and forth, this just makes it so much easier because it does the full analysis and it goes, okay, we've got some time slots here. So Mike and myself, you can see it's gone, we're both free at certain times, mutual free. And then what it did was it created this message for me to send to Mike. Now, if you do have Teams connected like me, it will actually give me this link. So I'm just going to copy this over, click this link, and it's going to open up my messages with Mike. And all I do is click paste in there, and I'll send that in. And hopefully he doesn't send me a message going, what have you just sent me, Jess? Because this is a demo. But that's how easy it can be. Now, going back to the workflow, the next step in my process, and again, oh, there we go. The next step in my process after I've sent that message to Mike to set up a meeting, I've asked it to create an incident investigation. So a kind of preparation for the actual potential incident. I wanted to create this incident investigation that's already started because we've obviously identified that there's risk here. And if an incident does happen, this just makes it so much easier. So again, it's not in your process, this is just a demo, but it's created this document for me, which is the incident investigation. So predictive, preemptive, based on a near-miss pattern analysis. And it's done this full risk analysis incident investigation for me this is what I would essentially drop into the email with the email to Mike. So that's the next step. And as you can see, this is one workflow and it's got 7 different steps. So this is just showing you how comprehensive SoterAI can be. Next step, once that pre-populated incident investigation is created, I'm going to create one more report. So the last step of this workflow is to generate a leadership summary report. So I just click that button. Again, this is I think, 6th click that I've had to do. I haven't typed anything. I haven't done anything other than just copy and paste that message to Mike. This report here, it will show up. It gives you a little snapshot in the chat, but this is the report essentially. And this is the final report. So I've done the email to the sites with the safety bulletin. I've done the safety manager email, dropped in the preemptive incident investigation. And now this is the final report summary to all of the leadership team. So like I said, it's going to give a very high level view of what risks it picked up at the very start, what actions have been done from that, and so on. So this is a really good show of how much it can provide you with 6 clicks. I think that is the end of the workflow, but I just want to show you quickly. So if I was to, I'm just going to say, can you create that draft email to Mike again? So obviously, if this was live, it'll look a lot better and I would be a lot more able to show you how cool it can really be. But I'm just going to get it to quickly create an email draft for you so that you can see just how easy that is. So I'll open up my emails. You can see my drafts folder is completely empty. So you can see that there. This is a magic show now. And hopefully this doesn't take too long, but it should be able to just create that now in a draft. All right. While we are waiting for that, I'm going to go back to the questions because I think we've got quite a few that have come through, which is very cool to see. So another question came, do you find yourself formatting the output, the PDF, the docx? So great question, actually. Yes, to a certain extent. The output that the AI can do is generally going to be pretty static in this canvas mode. So when you export it, you'll have a few certain elements that are just default. So I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, and I might just finish off by showing you the email and then we can go straight into questions. So that email is now going to be in my drafts. If I refresh my page, there we go. So that email was created by SoterAI. It's copied, it's put in Mike Barch. It's put in these 2 other emails that I've set as these are the emails for the site, but this is the email that essentially I got SoterAI to put in. So think about this in terms of if you get an email from someone and you need to respond to that, you could just go into SoterAI, go to the chat and go, hey, I got this email from Mike about an issue on site. Can you help me answer it? Can you also create some content that I can put in there? And what the AI will do is it'll create the response in your emails and it'll probably create the content that you need that you can then just drop into there. So it's a lazy girl's favorite tool. I'm very lazy and I love to just be able to go, hey, SoterAI, answer this. I don't have time. All right, going back to your question about the formatting. So that is the end of the webinar. I've showed you the one cool thing, the magic show. Sorry that it wasn't completely live, but the formatting for the documents are going to have a few things. I think I just downloaded that. Here it is. So this is what it's going to look like by default. You're going to see the organization name. So if you've got your organization name, say it's Soda, that would be up there. In this case, ours is called manufacturing demo. And then the workspace name. So this is my workspace's name, demo manufacturing facility. And then Georgia is the state that I've set in the workspace settings. And then this here is the logo that you will find over here on the settings page. Let's go workspace settings. The image that you upload to this section here is the logo that will be on all of your reports. So make sure you put your company's logo in there. If you're in that state, set that state, otherwise change it because that's going to come through on the report. But all this to say, we are actually in the process very close to releasing a new document formatting tool. So you'll find that you're going to have a little bit more flexibility with how you can export documents. That was a very long answer. Sorry to that user. Any more questions? So we've come to the end of the webinar. So this is your time. I know we've had a heap of questions come through while we were waiting for it to load. If there are none, though, we'll give it another few minutes. And yeah, if we don't have any more, then we'll end it there. We got a comment, actually. New doc formatting tool would be great. Oh, yes, I feel you. I've been waiting for it myself as well. Another question. So this is the same question as before. I am connected to safety culture. How do I sync the tools I developed in iAuditor into Soda? So I think that question is probably better to be answered off this webinar, just because there might be a few nuances to the connection and what you're trying to build. So reach out to me after this if you want to that user, and we can have a look at what we can do with you. All right. Still giving it a couple minutes for additional questions. We haven't had any new ones come up so far. And again, if you want access to this workflow that I built and you want to kind of develop it for your own organization, then absolutely, please reach out to me in an email and I'll send you the PDF. And if you remember, the way to add it to your workspace is to go to your workflows page, go create a workflow and drop in that document that I send you, and that'll create it for you. But make sure you definitely have your connectors. So these connectors here are the most important part of this session. Get your email connected, get your Teams, calendar, Google Drive, everything. Well, not many people have Google Drive, but OneDrive, ShareDrive, and whatnot. We have another question. Can you show how we can share workflows we've built with our internal team? That is a very good question. And you know what? I'm actually not going to answer it right now because we are a day, I think, maybe even today, we're going to be releasing a feature which is going to make sharing workflows a lot easier. Right now, it's a bit of a manual process. So if you wanted to share them like today and you didn't want to wait till tomorrow, then you can go into custom workflows, go into the workflow itself, and then export that and then add it to another workspace. But otherwise, I would wait until tomorrow or the day after. We're releasing a new share button, which will be a lot easier. We've got some people asking me to send the PDF. So just so that it's easy, because I don't have access to your emails from this Zoom meeting, if you can email me, you should be able to find my email. It's jessica.caution@soteranalytics.com. Just send me a quick email and then I'll drop that in for you. So thank you for asking in this, but it is a bit tricky to um, write that down. All right. Well, I think that is probably the end of the workflow, the webinar. Sorry. If you guys did want to, if you can't find my email, then you can always go to our website and just go to the generic email and they'll pass it on to me. But you should hopefully have mine by now. Been working with you guys for a long time and it's been an absolute pleasure. So, yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic day and I'll be in touch. And yeah, thank you again for your time today. I'll end that there.